sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K,
All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk facts.
We're giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
Play it on the car ride, play it when you lounge. X and O's, you know that we can hold it down. Shout out to my man Sammy, got it off the ground. And to all the listeners tuned in right now, got debates, analysis, and speculation. This is sports talk for the new generation. You know where to find us, got a reputation. Sick Podcast, your #1 sports destination.
Giving all our devotion, riding high on this wave of emotion. Going all out, yeah, cause this is our time. No, ain't no stopping us till we reach the finish line. All in, we came here to win. We're gonna give everything. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick. On fire, we're ready to fight. We'll bring the house down tonight. S-I-C-K on the run. S-I-C-K, sick.
S-I-C-K is the sickest podcast. Tune in for the audio, or you can even watch back. Giving players all the props, or put them on blast. We don't give no hot takes, only talk back. S-I-C-K, 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 S-I-C-K.
Turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. The Eye Test with Pierre, McGuire, and Jimmy Murphy.
The Stanley Cup winning Colorado Avalanche And after 22 years, Raymond Mark!
The sickest NHL podcast. It's gonna be sick.
And welcome to another edition of the Eye Test here in the Sick Podcast Network. He is Pierre McGuire. I am Jimmy Murphy, and this is another edition of On Campus Friday, Pierre. And we're going to get right into that. We'll talk some NHL later, but we've got our guests waiting for us right now. So let's bring on right now UMass Amherst head coach Greg Carvel joining us here on the Eye Test. Hey, Coach, how are you?
Hey, guys. Good. How you doing?
Not bad. How about you?
We're doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm refreshed, ready to go for another season. How was your summers?
You're going to have to be refreshed, Coach. I'm looking at some of the guys you lost, whether it's Ločmelis, Mercury, Suniev, Connors, O'Hara. You lost a boatload of guys, my friend.
Yeah, we did it. And they left in a hurry. They all signed shortly after our last game and went into panic mode for a little while. But luckily, we have a portal now that we can jump into and find some bodies.
Yeah, that was going to be the follow-up there, coaches. How much is the portal helping to alleviate some of the pain of when you have a mass turnover like that?
Yeah, I don't want to rely on the portal. It's not the way that I want to do things here. You know, we like guys who we know and they come and they stay here until they're ready to turn pro. But when you lose 4 guys early, you know, 4 of those 5 guys that signed could have come back for another year. So we were a little desperate. And, you know, when you lose that many, you're not prepared to replace 4 guys. You just, you know, we didn't have that many guys ready in our pipeline. So we feel fortunate. Now we got 3 players out of the portal, 1 from Michigan State, 1 from Wisconsin, 1 from our IT, and they're all playing on our top 3 lines. So luckily the portal was there for us.
You know what else is really good? You have this amazing history and track record of producing NHL players. So guys know if they come to UMass, there's a real good chance if they're good enough, they're going to get an opportunity to play, whether they've been drafted or not. How much of that goes into your recruiting sales pitch?
Well, that's our entire recruiting sales pitch. Is we have built that reputation. You know, we have a presentation that we showed to players before they get on campus, and a lot of it is NHL scouts, GMs, comments they make about our program. But back to the portal, the 3 players that we did that came to us out of the portal were all directed to us by their advisors. You know, we didn't. You know, one of the players we knew a little bit, but of the 3, all 3 of them, they're basically their advisors kind of led the charge and helped get them to UMass.
Coach, you know, you obviously lost Ločmelis there, but the reviews I'm getting from the Bruins organization, people working with him there, it's much like what you told us about him last year. When you see a play like that, developing the pro qualities while he's under your watch, how proud do you feel to see him go on and you know, execute what he learned there?
Yeah, I tell everybody, Dans was maybe my favorite player I ever coached in college because he did everything exactly as you asked him to do it. And everything you asked him to be better at, he worked hard to be better at it. He's a really smart player. He's not super elite at anything, but he's very good at everything. He can score. He's got great feet. He's smart, good stick. He's, you know, the only issue is he came here at about 160 pounds, and I think he probably left here about 175. And once he gets up to 190, he's going to be a very good player.
Yeah, we're on the same page. The first time I saw him play was in Kiruna over in Europe, and he was really gifted, and hockey sense was exquisite, but he just wasn't big enough at the time. I completely agree with you. Coach, one of the things that is big, you got 2 behemoths on defense in Del Elche and Keenan, and you got a massive goalie in Hrabal. Is that your focus when you're recruiting those positions in particular, is to get bigger people?
You know, we like to play a heavy game, and so obviously you want bigger bodies, but I wouldn't say that we went into recruiting the last number of years saying, okay, everybody's got to be 6'3" or bigger. But lo and behold, we are that. Like we're the biggest team in college hockey this year. I think our average height is 6'2".
Yeah, they're huge, Jimmy.
And I think we might only have 3 players under 6 foot on our team. And it may be the way we do things going forward. It's kind of nice stepping on the ice and having it look like this, to, you know, tip my head up to see everybody, because I'm not a big guy. But it's one thing to be tall. It's another thing to be hard. And we're tall, but we're not. It'll take a little while to get the new guys as hard as we need them to be.
Speaking of Hrabal there, Coach, was there any fear, heading down the stretch that maybe he was going to be one of those players that signed early? And how happy you have him back?
Yeah, we had 5 guys that we knew could be early flight risks. 4 of them left, and Michael was the only one who came back. And Michael's outstanding. He's great attitude. He knows this is a good place for him. He plays every game. Especially for a goaltender, I think you don't want to fast track anything. He had a great second half of the last year, but he needs to do it an entire year and even at a higher level. He's a great student. He'll get his degree by the end of this year. Utah tried really, really hard to sign him. And there's only one other kid that's told the NHL team no, and that was Cale McGuire. And he had a pretty good year coming back, and I think it was the right decision for him. I think it was the right decision for Mike. I try to convince the other 4 guys it was the right decision to come back, but they're all doing pretty well at the next level.
Yeah, they are. We're doing well because they're good players and they were ready to play pro hockey. That's one of the things that I find endearing about your program. I watched you so much over the last 5 years, and your program is phenomenal because they do develop players. Speaking of getting players, the CHL, situation is really amped up more than ever before. How big a player are you guys going to be into that pool?
Well, my assistants do the lion's share of the recruiting, and I trust them. They've done a great job. My assistants, I've had Tommy Upton and Nolan Glukowski. This is our 4th year together. So we've built momentum on the recruiting side of things. They understand the type of player that I want in the program. And they've told me recently, we're going to be spending a lot more time in the CHL. And according to them, the USHL has dropped off a little. And there's just a ton of players up there. And, what we're finding too is that a lot of players now and playing in the CHL, unlike in US, they're not in a rush to commit. They're not in a rush to, and I know part of that is Canadian kids not wanting to, shake the waters with their CHL team. But my assistants have both said and I've heard from other people too, there's just so many good players that you need to be there. Although we didn't start this year with a single freshman on our team that came from the CHL. We didn't go heavy like some teams did. We like the players. We got a big freshman class. We have 8 freshmen and 3 transfers. But none of them played in the CHL last year, but they will obviously going forward, as I think most of our commits are there now.
Hey, Jimmy, just one thing. They got a couple kids out of the Quebec League, the Ty Fair brothers. One of them was originally committed to Penn State, and the other one is obviously coming in. Those kids are both really good players. They're outstanding players.
Yeah.
Coach, one thing we've kind of cautioned fans about, because I know there's so much hoopla around these kids coming down from the CHL, and you see a lot of players, whether it's Gavin McKenna or some of the other big names, where people think they're going to be able to just jump right in and succeed and rack up these points. In terms of, how much about both leagues, what's the difference, the biggest difference to you between college hockey and the CHL, and how do you adjust? How do you get those kids to adjust?
That's the interesting thing. We're all going to find out here pretty soon. It's just what that transition is going to be like, because it's the next step higher on the ladder. Everyone's bigger, everyone's stronger, everyone's older.
Right.
And that may be a transition for some kids. Every kid's different. But we have heard some stories from other programs with kids who've already left school. They've already, this is harder than I expected it to be, whether it's academics or how hard you train or how much time commitment, time management matters to you. So there's a lot. It'll be interesting to see. I'd be going into this, I was a little worried about, we weren't in on any of these big names, and that's fine. I don't really want to be in that. And I understand why you do it. You want good players, but it's not our makeup as a program. We want kids who want to be here for the development, not for the money that they make. And when you start getting kids who are there for money, it's kind of tough to build a culture can be divisive if everyone's not playing for the right reasons. So we've been a little leery. We do have, we're a revenue sharing school and we're paying all of our players this year. Not everyone gets the same, but in our program, it's about what you deserve and what you earn. And I have a hard time giving a player who's never made one body check for my team a big amount of money. Like, come prove to me that you can play the way we want to play. And if you're a good player, you'll get money. We've got, Michael Hrabal making a good amount of money to be here, and he's earned it. And same with Jack Musa, another good players on our team. So that's how I want to stay. Obviously, you want good players on your team, but you want to have a good team before anything else.
One of the things you just talked about is culture and identity. How would you describe your culture and your identity?
Yeah, it's really high standards, and basically everything is about developing your character. And luckily, your hockey game develops right behind your character. It's an adjustment for all of our players. It doesn't matter where you played before here. They come here. The details with everything we do, the details of everything, the professionalism, the demands are really high, and it just takes time for most guys. Some guys longer than others. We have a player this year, Nick Van Tassel, who is 6'5".
Drafted by Ottawa, Jimmy.
Ottawa draft pick. He didn't do anything for 2 years here, but we've pushed, and this kid's figured it out. And I think he's going to be an animal this year. But
he's a big guy, I'll tell you what. He's
big. He's a train now, and he's just a good example of our culture that it's demanding to play here. You have to have discipline. You have to have sacrifice. It's hard, and if you don't like that, then you won't like being here. But when you come into the culture here, it's powerful because anything worthwhile is hard. So we make it hard, and everyone leaves here. We like to say they go from boys to men. And I think Dans Ločmelis was a great example. He came in here as a little kid. He left here. He went to Providence. He said 12 points in 6 games. And I talked to the Bruins last week about him, or the other day, and said, is Don still up? And they're like, yeah, the coaches really like him. He's just really likable. I said, absolutely. Does everything right.
That's great. Coach, just on a national scale there, they changed the got rid of pairwise there. What did you think of the new changes there with how they have that set up for the NPI now?
I trust that they're doing the right thing. I don't think it's a major change. It's a slight, I think it gives them a little better control over who should actually be in the final, 14, 16, whatever it is. And actually, the guy in charge of that's Tim Dana. He actually grew up with him in Canton, New York, and he's one of the smartest guys we knew. So if he says that's the way to go, and I'm all in. But I don't think it's a major change, but fine tuning.
Can't get away from the North Country. I love it. I can't wait to go back. I'll be there soon in November. Greg, I just wanted one last thing for me anyways, is you go into this season and Hockey East was a beast last year. It was ridiculous. There was no other conference that was like Hockey East last year. No, it was crazy. Where's the league this year?
It's a good question. I guess we'll wait and see, but I have to believe it's similar. I mean, last year you had the teams in the bottom of our league are getting better. Like UNH and Vermont are getting better. Yep. BU and BC in the last couple of years have gotten back to levels that they used to be at. I thought last year's team was maybe my best collection of players, and we finished in 6th place. But we ended up 6th place in Hockey East, and we were in the final 8 in the country. Yep. The league's outstanding, right? And the teams. I'm going into my 10th year, and I've seen the evolution of our league. When I got here, I felt like Lowell and Providence played hard, and now it's like every team plays hard. Every team grinds, and the talent level of our league is tough to match to.
I agree.
Coach, listen, we appreciate you taking the time. Good luck against Northern Michigan this weekend. I bet the campus is excited for that. Looking forward to seeing down the rinks down the line.
Thanks, Jimmy. Pierre, great to see you.
I'll talk to you, Coach. Thank you.
All right. See you guys.
UMass head coach Greg Carvel joining us here. Pierre,
Did you hear what he said?
Everything about the culture.
The key number, 10th year.
Yeah. Yep. I know.
That's the key number. Just food for thought.
Yep. I know. And it's interesting, Pierre. I was thinking as he's speaking there and he's talking about the culture. When he arrived at UMass, the idea of UMass making the national tournament was pretty foreign. It was almost like, wow,
there was no culture, Jimmy. There was no culture,
right? And you know how tied in I am there. And it was like to just see them make it, you'd be happy. Like, well, that's great. Hey, we made it. Who cares if we lose 10-0 in the game? It doesn't matter. Now it's like if they don't get to the Frozen Four, or at least as he said, the Elite Eight, it's a lost season in their eyes. And it's amazing how that culture changed so fast under him. And, as you said, 10th year, I know a lot of pro teams are looking at him every year being like, this guy knows how to do it.
I'm so proud of him. For those that don't know, I'll tell you again, and there are a lot of people that do know, recruited him, coached him, helped draft him, let him speak at my wedding. He's an amazing guy.
He really is.
He's and he's a stickler. But even when he was a player, he was like that. He could have gone anywhere in the country when he was at Hotchkiss School. He played for a coach named Jeff Kozak. He could have gone to any school in the country, Michigan, Harvard, you name it. They wanted him. And I remember we went out for a walk around Hotchkiss, which is in Lakeville, Connecticut. It's a beautiful part of the state of Connecticut. And it's just he and I walking around. And I said, what do you want to get out of college? He goes, I want to play on a really hard team. I want to go to a school that's got excellent academic credentials. And I want my parents to be able to see me play. I said, well, then you just nailed St. Lawrence. And he committed. I drove back to Canton that day, and I remember talking to Joe Marsh, who was my boss. I said, I think this guy's going to come. And Joe with his brogue, I don't know, Pierre. And the next morning he called and he committed.
That's awesome.
And he was a winner, man. Right from the start, that guy was a winner.
Yeah. I wanted to, Pierre, and I think the answer to this is going to be yes. But could you see in him, while he's a player, that he has coach material in him?
Scotty and I both. So Scotty and I, along with Craig Patrick and the scouting staff in Pittsburgh, we drafted him. And what back then was a supplemental draft. They were trying to take away all that free agency stuff for college players because the numbers were getting crazy.
Right.
So he was a supplemental draft pick. And that's the one thing Scotty kept saying to me. He goes, Pierre, even if he doesn't make it as a player, he's going to be a hell of a coach because he processes a game so well.
You could see
you could just see it. You could see it right away. So I was like, yeah, I guess you're right. I was looking at him as a player because I had coached him in college and I had said, wow, this guy's a good player. I think if he would have been coming out now without the red line and the emphasis on guys that can process, I think he would have made it. With the red line in, it would have been hard. Well, he didn't make it.
Yeah.
I think that hurt him a lot.
Yeah. One thing I love too there, and this is no knock on teams that are going after the big stars from the CHL and bringing them down. I'm not criticizing them. Everybody has their own way of doing things. What I love, though, is him not veering away from what he believes in. But at the same time, learning to adapt, but still maintaining his beliefs and his, what he tries to instill in his players. I admire that.
Well, so do I, and he won't. He will not bend to anything like that. I promise you.
You see it.
Yeah, no. Look, there are a lot of players that have gone there where I've spoken to their parents that have gone to UMass, and my message is pretty simple. You'll never find a guy that will coach your son harder. You'll never find a guy that will care more about your son. And you may not like some of the methods, but I assure you they're not with any ill intent. It's only to help your child. And if you don't want to be part of something that's hard, and you heard him say it, you make it hard.
3 times. That's what I counted.
you make it hard because it has to be hard.
Yeah.
If you're not into that, don't go there.
Yeah.
Don't go there.
And that's a perfect example of why you're seeing so many of his play. I know it's tough for him because he's losing these guys early, but that's why so many are turning pro because
I felt
he's
so
got that
bad for him.
instilled.
I felt bad for him. Like, we had this long talk at the
He
end
got
of the
raped.
year, and I knew Ločmelis was leaving.
Yep.
I knew Mercury was leaving. I wasn't sure on Suniev. Connors, I knew was going to leave, and O'Hara, I thought would go back because he'd have a legitimate chance to be a Hobie Baker winner this year. If O'Hara had gone back, he went to Nashville. Last year, he had 51 points in 40 games. I mean, that's a hell of a season in college hockey. Talking about Cole O'Hara, he's a good player, but I guess, Nashville put an offer on the table, and hard for him not to take that.
Right.
But of all those guys that left, I thought 2 would go back. I told Greg, I said,
I didn't think Hrabal would be back, Pierre. I really didn't.
I did.
You did? Okay.
I did. I really did.
It's a Utah situation.
Just because
You
of
heard
where
him say they
Yeah,
pressed.
no, but one more year. So you rather than go to Tucson, you're getting paid to play at UMass,
Right.
and you're playing every game unless you say, Coach, I can't go today. But he's getting all the games unless he can't go. So it's a good development here for him. And people forget he's the only goalie ever to win back-to-back bronze medal games at the World Junior. And people say knock that a little bit. Here's my argument on that. You win gold and you win bronze. You got to lose to get silver. This guy's won bronze back-to-back years at the World Junior. That's a hell of an accomplishment. I'm just telling you, it's a hell of an accomplishment.
And with all due respect to his teammates, he stole a lot of games in those tournaments.
Well, last year in particular in Ottawa, that's about as well as I've ever seen him play.
Yeah. And you could see, remember he said that he had a great second half. You could see remember Pierre, when we were talking about it when he got back?
We talked about it, yes.
Yeah. Hrabal was he was rising at that point in the season. He kept going. So UMass, they lost a lot of people, but they're in great hands with Greg Carvel. So good luck to them this season. And we love having him on here in the eye test. Pierre, before we switch gears to some pro hockey stuff
I'm watching some pro hockey right now. Hershey's got a 1-0 lead on Wilkes-Barre Scranton. The shots are 9-5 for Wilkes-Barre Scranton. Pittsburgh versus Washington, just at the American League level.
I love it. The morning games too. We were talking before we got on the air that the furthest west that UMass has to go is Omaha. One of these days, I'm hoping that Greg Carvel will be sitting next to us on a plane headed to Belfast to the Friendship 4. I would love to see that. But we will be going there twice for the men's tournament at the end of November and then the women's into the new year as well over in Belfast. We'll be in Dublin before that and then Belfast. We're going to again be at the Harry Lemon and also the Hart Pub. And it's looking like the Merchant Hotel. But when we have that confirmed, I will let you know. Pierre, what a wonderful email we got from Paul McMahon, who's on the Odyssey Trust Board.
So grateful for that note.
Yeah, that was really nice. Just thanking us for all we've been doing. And Paul, if you're watching, it's our honor. It's our privilege that we're able to help promote this and be part of this Friendship 4 series. And of course, Cara Group Travel. I want to give a shout out to Sarah Stanton as always, who seriously,
she's amazing.
If you need something done, she gets it done.
She gets it done.
It's amazing.
She's an amazing woman. She is. Yep. She's really good.
Good stuff. All right, let's talk about, because you were saying before we got on the air, could you believe that Panthers Lightning game? Now, this is the second time within a week, Pierre, where we've seen a preseason game get really out of control, injuries, and look, we all like tough hockey. We all like it, but this is a little sideshowish to me.
No. So look, I'm not picking sides here because I like both managers and I like both coaching staffs and I respect both ownership groups and I respect both organizations. But AJ Greer was out of control last night. And look, he's a valuable player. We've talked when we pumped Florida's tires on AJ Greer, Jonah Gadjevich, and Tomasz Nosek and how great they were. Sometimes good people do bad things. That was uncalled for last night. That's no good. And here, I don't know if there's an answer for it or not, but this is one thing that I hope does happen. I hope a guy like Ron Hainsey or a guy like Glenn Healy, who are part of the NHLPA, Matthew Schneider, any of those people who are respected former players in the league that are part of it at the PA, I love to see them go address both teams and say, fellas, what are you doing? And I know the league will say that's not their domain. Well, you know what? The guys that are playing on those teams are paying NHLPA PA dues.
Yeah.
So maybe if you want to do it in concert, send anybody from player safety. Send George Peros. Send Chris King.
Mhm.
So it's mutual league, and you can't be doing that.
No.
Like Hagel's hurt. He's an important
There's
part
no
of their
need for
team.
that.
Like,
And I
for what?
understand. I understand the rivalry between it. I understand the bitterness.
You know what's funny?
But
Like
there's
these guys, there's a rivalry. Okay,
There's a line.
there's clearly a line. Like, come on.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, Pierre. I'm totally with you. Want to talk about, speaking of, we got a big game coming up against the Sens and the Canadians again tomorrow night. And there is also a fear that we could see some of that again between them. But before we talk about that, Pierre, and speaking of Montreal, I want to tell everybody about our wonderful sponsor, Vago Italian. We're very excited to have them be on board here with the eye test. Vago combines old world classics and new Italian dishes for over 23 years. Private dining rooms for any occasion. They're open Monday to Saturday evenings and lunch from Tuesday to Friday. Located at 1336 Green Avenue in the Westmount neighborhood of Montreal. For reservations, call 514-846-1414. Again, that's 514-846-1414. And then, of course, our other wonderful sponsor, Betway, where you can still go all the way with Betway and bet those beauties. And if you join right now with that QR code right in front of you, or go to the member section, create your new membership there on the website, you can get up to $200 credit on your first bet, even if you lose. And I hope nobody took my advice on the Red Sox. I apologize. Great win by the Yankees. Great pitching matchup too. But what a job by that
And
kid.
the kid for the Yankees went to Northeastern.
Yeah, Walpole, Mass.
Yep.
Good
He
for
didn't
him.
come from the prison though.
No. There's a hockey rink right down the street from there, Pierre.
Don't worry, Jimmy. I'm aware.
So
I didn't go to prison either, though.
go to Betway right now and sign up for your new membership. You must be 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. Always bet responsibly. And remember, right now, this offer is not available in Ontario. All right, Pierre, back to what we were saying there. What do you, if you're the coaches, if you're Travis Green and you're Marty St. Louis, how are you approaching your team heading into this game tomorrow based on what happened in the previous game?
Well, we're playing a game and we're trying to get better, but I'd make sure on either side I'd have at least 2 nuclear deterrents, not 1. I'd have 2, just so I had insurance. Because if somebody goes a little bit batty, a little bit squirrely, I want to make sure that I can measure up. But outside of that, I don't think that'll happen. I think probably both coaches will say, okay, fellas, let's save it for the regular season. What happened the other night, I think the fights were not great. I mean, that's going to happen. I didn't like the cross check to Janek's face. I didn't think that was good. I didn't like the slash to Demidov's hand from Cousins. I thought that was cheap.
Yeah. Let me ask you this, Pierre. If you're for veterans, I mean, obviously the younger guys, the guys on the borderline are making a team, still got so much to play for heading into this last game, right?
Yeah, they do, Jimmy. We talked
approach it.
Yeah, no, we talked about that yesterday too, because now the cuts are starting to come down, and you're seeing guys that maybe thought they had a chance. Now they're down in the American League, and like I'm watching this game now. It's 1-0 still, and it's a tight checking game. And you can see the guys that just came down, and you can see the guys that are a little frustrated. So it's interesting. But if I were a young player now, play to your identity, play hard, listen to the coach, and be the most prepared for every shift you can be. That's how you got to pursue it. Every game almost now for and we're at the end of the line now, every game for all these young guys, whether they're playing East Coast League, American League, NHL, you got to play it like a game 7 or you're not going to keep your job. It's that simple.
Right. All right. Well, look, next week, Pierre, we will be looking ahead to the regular season already. It is here, kicking off next Tuesday night. Really looking forward to that. So we'll get into kind of looking ahead. I know you don't like making predictions, but we'll kind of forecast some of the teams, because I think, you and I talk a lot when we look at divisions, we look at potential playoff teams. Okay, if this team is rising up and going into the playoffs, which team is dropping? So want to kind of talk about some of the shuffling we might see as we go forward.
Just
here
remember what we've talked about, and we'll talk about it all season long. This season's not about the coaches that are already there or the players that are already there. This is about the owner that's got the wherewithal to spend the money, the GM that's got to be wise about how they're going to spend the money and make deals, and the pro scouts. There'll be more pressure on pro scouting staffs than ever before this year. because that's how equal the league is. That's how convoluted it is at the top. You could have 8 or 9 different teams in the hunt easily.
Yep. And it's not Pierre too, just to clarify to our listeners and viewers, Pierre's not just talking about scouting like big name players and bringing them in a big trade. Talking depth guys too, guys that matter 100%. When it comes to playoff time. So that's
100%.
Yep. All right. Well, good luck to all those scouts this year. We know they listen and we appreciate it. And good luck to our listeners. Enjoy your weekend. We appreciate you listening to the Eye Test here on the Sick Podcast Network. Thanks to Shane up in Montreal, and thanks to UMass head coach Greg Carvel for joining us. Pierre, enjoy the weekend, my friend.
What do you got Monday? Who's the guy coming on Monday for the Eye Test?
Oh, that would be Mr. Craig Berube, the head coach of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Looking forward to talking to him, and really looking forward to talking about, because I think we're both excited about the potential for that team.
Yeah, Craig's great too. He's going to lay it out there, and it's all really, really good. We're going to have a steady array of pretty spectacular guests coming up, so it's kind of fun.
We love it. We're lucky.
Kind of fun.
Yep. So looking forward to that. But until then, have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you back here in the Eye Test on the Sick Podcast Network on Monday.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Eye Test with Pierre McGuire and Jimmy Murphy on YouTube, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.